You know, it was actually during Highway to Heaven that I came to Christ. Um, I was a broken person and was struggling deeply with all sorts of things. My parents divorced when I was 15 years old, and I became a pretty rebellious young man, and I was out of control. And I actually had just started working as a film loader on Highway to Heaven. And, my mom came to Christ prior to me, and she was very broken as well. And she would try to talk me into going to church, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And eventually I went just to appease her and to actually, Bob, to get her off my back about it. And I couldn't tell you what the pastor said that day, Bob, but I can tell you that whatever he said impacted me. And he definitely spoke truth into my heart. So I would fight to go back, and then eventually I'd cave in and I'd go back to church and I'd listen more and think more. And eventually, just out of my own brokenness, nothing that I deserve credit for, I accepted an altar call and gave my life to Christ.
There's a novel, I understand it's your third novel that you've written. It's called Traces of Mercy. Tell me how you made the jump into doing books.
Yeah, well, I see myself as a storyteller, and you struggle really hard to get stories told, and they cost, at a minimum, at least in the level of filmmaking that I'm at, millions. And so, and I've been very, fortunate to work with some great authors, Jeanette Oak and Francine Rivers and Beverly Lewis, and I've optioned other properties as well. And so I started looking at other avenues of telling stories. I mean, that again, I feel like I'm a storyteller, which means you can cross over into different mediums, and then. So part of it was that, being able to just tell my stories that I want to tell without restriction, and then hopefully the goal, the end game also is to then take that and adapt it into film.
So tell me about the concept of Traces of Mercy. It's due out this fall.
Yeah. Traces of Mercy opens up on the tail end of the American Civil War. And our heroine, whose identity is not revealed, is in a horrific accident that leaves her alone and unconscious. And when she awakens, she doesn't remember anything. And she was wearing a Mercy medallion when they found her, so given the name Mercy, this young woman, like all amnesia patients, just wants to know the truth of her past. Well, a young, handsome stranger arrives, and he potentially holds the key to everything she's forgotten. The problem is what he does know about her could destroy her future and even potentially end her life. So that's the setup.